Hi everyone, my name is Alison Tait, aka A.L. Tait. I am the author of the Mapmaker Chronicles. This is book 1, the Mapmaker Chronicles book 2. And I'm here today as part of Shed Australia's Where I Write, #WhereIWrite initiative. And I'm just going to give you a little bit of a tour of where I write. I'm going to talk a little bit about the writing process that I use, such as it is. I'm going to introduce you to my faithful writing companion, Procrastipup. And then I'm going to read you a little bit of the Mapmaker Chronicles 3, Breath of the Dragon, which is out in October 2015. So thanks very much for joining me. I am now going to attempt to turn the camera around so that I can show you a little bit of my garden, which would be where I write, because as you can see, it's really quite beautiful. I live on the south coast of New South Wales. I'm incredibly fortunate to live in a very old house down here, and the garden is stunning. It is also quite large, and that's quite helpful for me because I am someone who uses what I like to call active meditation as part of my writing process. And by active meditation, I mean you'll see the boys have created a teepee here. I like to do mindless repetitive tasks like weeding and walking and washing up, all the W's, while I think about things. That allows me to put my writing into the back of my mind, and then I go forward once I'm actually at my desk. So this is the bit where I do the thinking, and this over here, ready for his moment of international stardom, this is Procrastipup, my faithful writing companion. As you can see, he's totally thrilled by the entire process of this, and he won't even wake up to talk to us. But anyway, usually he's quite active. But now I'm going to take you through, and I'm going to show you, as I said, she's an old girl, this one. I'm going to show you the actual writing space. So we're going through down the hallway, from the backyard to the front yard. This is a little display that the boys put together for today. So we've used the Mapmaker Chronicles steering wheel. And this is where I actually write. So I sit here at my computer, and because I'm also a freelance writer, and I have been for a very long time, I have quite a Pavlovian response to sitting at this computer. It's what I do. I would love to be one of those authors that writes in cafes and does exciting things. Look, I brought some flowers in for you today. But I'm actually not. I tend to be someone who I need to know I'm doing the work. So I sit down here, look, there I am on the screen, and I do the work. And my writing process, I did an interview with Michael Robotham, who is, of course, the crime writing person for my podcast. You'll see my podcast headphones there because I've just finished one. And Michael Robotham referred to people as pioneers or settlers. So pioneers were basically people who rush through a first draft to see what's going to happen. Here I am with my keep calm and carry on. And then settlers are people who sort of like to explore a bit along the way. So I am most definitely a pioneer. I like to sit down and blast out a first draft as quickly as I possibly can. And once I have got that first draft down, I then go back and I work on it a bit more. And that works well for me because I think I managed to keep the pace up. I'm desperate to find out what's going to happen next. And the next part of my process is then to read it aloud to my oldest son, who tells me where the boring bits are, and I remove those, which of course you have to do for kids, and then I go back and edit again. So that's basically how my writing process works. And it's always been like that. I've never been somebody who planned anything or did that sort of thing. So my writing process is very much get it on paper, see what's going to happen, and then go from there. And that's what I did with the Mapmaker Chronicles 3. And I'm just going to read you guys a little bit of that now. So I'll turn it around again. Oh no, I won't. Sorry. Okay. So in this book, which is of course the last book in the trilogy, there's a lot of action, an awful lot of action. And in this particular case, the team on the Libertas are trying to save Namu, who is the great white beast who rises from the depths every once in a while. And they've gone into battle for Namu with another boat. And this is what happens after they successfully manage to save Namu. "We did it," said Ash, eyes shining. "We sure did," said Thomas, but he was not looking at the spot where Namu had disappeared. Rather, he was staring to port side, his mouth open in shock and disbelief. Quinn turned to follow his gaze, his own stomach dropping to his feet, for swarming over the port rail was a huge group of angry Deslanders, their faces twisted in rage. In that instance, Quinn could see Zane's point about not wanting to start a fight. "Don't just stand there," Thomas shouted, bringing Quinn to his senses. "Grab a weapon!" A roar sounded from the wheelhouse, and suddenly Zane was at the rail, his huge two-handed sword swinging over his head, Jericho and Ison at his back, brandishing their own weapons. Dilly dropped down from the mast, a knife between his teeth, while Abel and Cook ran from the galley. At the sight of them, the leading Deslanders paused, but not for long. With a howl, they threw themselves onto the deck, thrusting their long, pointed sticks at the Libertas crew. Stunned, Quinn watched helplessly as more and more Deslanders streamed over the rail. The Libertas crew were fighting bravely, but were hopelessly outnumbered. "Come on, Quinn," said Ash, pulling her knife from her boot. "We have to help." Grabbing Ison's mallet, which was propped nearby, Quinn followed his friend into the fray with Thomas at his heels. "Trip them up," Quinn shouted at Thomas, realizing that the best thing that he and his friends could do against the oversized Deslanders was to create a nuisance. And so he and Ash and Thomas ran headlong at the fighting Deslanders, using roundhouse kicks to take their feet out from under them wherever they could. The tactic seemed to be working, and the tide of the battle was evening out, when Quinn was startled by a sharp, twanging noise. Looking up, he saw a storm of arrows raining down on the deck. "They're shooting at us," shouted Ash. "What can we do?" "Over here," screamed Thomas, beckoning from the rail. "The archer is in the boat." "We need to get down there," Quinn shouted. "We have to—" Whatever he was about to say was lost as a great bellow of pain sounded across the deck. Quinn had only ever heard a sound like that once before, and it was when one of his dad's biggest bulls had been gored in a fight with a neighbour's even larger bull. Hardly daring to look, he turned from the rail to see Zane crashing to the deck like a falling oak, an arrow in his left shoulder, blood gushing down his arm. So, will Zane survive? What will happen next? That's what we'll need to find out. Thank you so much for joining me here today for Where I Write. I hope you've enjoyed this little peek inside my writing life and my very, very sleepy puppy. And I look forward to seeing all the other # Australia and New Zealand authors in Where I Write. Bye!